What's good, Faith Walkers? Welcome back to the God's Vibes podcast. Hello, hello. Good to have you here. We've got a fun topic for y'all today. I'm excited to dive right into it. Before we do, we've got something exciting going on. So we have, if you're not aware, inside the Courage Co community, Courage Co can be located at www.courageco.org. Inside this community, we have a program called 30 Days of Faith Walking. Okay, so this program came to be from a workbook that I created for faith walkers. It's called Rule and Reign, the Faith Walker Manual. And this guy is a beast, but the intention behind this workbook is that in any season, you could walk by faith and reference this as often as you need. It's full of different tools, it's full of scripture and foundational truth, it's full of different exercises and activations to really get you walking by faith. Now, because I know humans, and I am one, I know that we need a lot of accountability and support on this fun life journey, let alone a God journey, a spiritual walk. So I was led to be obedient, hallelujah, and create this 30 days of faith walking program. So what I did in this program was literally create an entirely new training based on Rule and Reign, the Faith Walker Manual. So this is a 30-day program. It's set up to be devotional style so that you can take it a day at a time, a step at a time, and a moment at a time. It's one of my life mottos, right? And the videos are digestible, and there is a new workbook for this program. So what does that mean? That means even if you don't go to Amazon and buy Rule and Reign, the Faith Walker Manual, although I don't know why you wouldn't, or even listen to the audio, but let's say you didn't do that, you don't even have to, because I created an entirely new workbook for you. So there's a new video every single day that's brief and amazing, so you can get straight to the point. And then there is a worksheet and an activation each day so that it's simple and straightforward for you to go through 30 days of faith walking. Now, something special that we're doing is I am going to join you live. Yep, you heard it here first, right on the podcast. You heard it on the podcast. You're even hearing before the Courage Co community, y'all. I'm going to be live with you. What does that mean? That means that every week I will meet with you and coach you through the content. But that also means that you got to do the work, okay? But I will be in there with you, coaching you live. Now, that is not something that is currently offered to the program, okay? And it's rare that I will come on there and coach you through. So here's what you got to do. If you want to be in 30 Days of Faith Walking with us, we officially start March 4th, okay? You've got a few days to get your life. All you got to do, click the link in the bio and check out, and you'll get plugged into the program and get all of the call details, and a free workbook will be sent to you because we love you. So that's what you get. It is crazy low price to get plugged into that program. You're going to get weekly live coaching and a bonus journal. Really a no-brainer. This is a great way to challenge yourself to start walking by faith. We need to be doing this in the world that we live in. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but walking by emotions ain't gonna work. Walking by logic and reasoning, that don't work. We need to be walking by faith, all right? So I invite you to join me live in 30 Days of Faith Walking. You can click the link in my bio. Not my bio, the show notes below. You can also click the link in my bio. You can go to courageco.org, www.courageco.org, and you can access it directly there as well. All the ways. If you have any questions at all, info@julianapage.com. Our team will get you the links and all of the things. But get plugged in. This is a great way to get literally 4, maybe 5 hours of coaching. 5 hours of coaching, essentially for free. Just saying. A bonus journal that you don't even pay for, and 30 days of content, plus bonuses, because we do bonuses around here. What in the world? Go sign up. Invite a friend. Let's make it a party. We'll have a glory party. Come join us. Okay, so you heard it here first. Take action. This is so accessible, and it's going to be amazing. We have so much fun in there. So come join us live. If you need to hear from other folks, ask them in Courage Co. Ask them what they think. They love this program. It's one of our faves. So join us in there. It's going to be a time. All right. So, y'all, man, I've got a word today. And this was crazy, but I'm just going to dive into it. So some of you know, part of my background, I went to graduate school for film production. So I like to believe that that was a psychology degree. It was a sociology degree. It was wild because you have to understand people, character, motivation, the arc of a story, like so many things, let alone technology. All the technologies. There's so much that you have to learn. You have to be crazy resourceful. You have to be a really great leader. You have to overcome impossibilities for breakfast. That's literally your job. And you have to deal with all sorts of roadblocks and challenges. It's wild. Okay, so that's part of my background. But what that really taught me and what got me into that program was I saw a flyer about how you can create your reality. And I'm like, tell me more. How does one do this? And this was before faith walking was happening, okay? I was doing a lot of fear walking and a lot of fear walking, a lot of anxiety walking, okay? But I am passionate and devote many, many hours a week to help people transform their dream into a reality. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today just to give you a simple structure. If you've ever wondered how to do this, or if it's eluded you, or you've just gotten frustrated, we're going to redeem that today. So we're going for it. This is a great one to take notes. This is a great opportunity right now to copy the link to this episode and share it with a friend. Go ahead and subscribe. We literally do our best to teach, to train, to equip, to empower, to bless, to exhort, to strengthen you on your faith walking journey, to help you grow and mature in your faith, to help you lead well, to help you be a witness that is full of God's power and full of wisdom and integrity. And if any of these episodes have blessed you, it would be such a blessing if you could pay it forward. Subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend, leave a 5-star review and a comment. And then when you do that as well, go to www.julianapage.com and complete the form on the podcast page so that we can send you the 30-day devotional, the 30-day God's Vibes Matter devotional. All right, so let's get into it. Did you know that your frustration might actually be telling you something? And it's not bad. It's not bad. So we're going to talk about it. Here's a quote. A vision demands execution. Just because you dreamed it does not mean you will live it. By yours truly. Okay? Here's the thing. It's so important that every person lives with a dream. The Bible is super clear. Without vision, the people perish. Okay? And in the midst of pain and suffering, which is just a part of life, no one escapes it. Life is hard. It's tough and it's difficult. And having a vision, having a God dream is what actually helps you prevail. It's what helps you endure. It's what helps you cultivate the fruit of the Spirit called long suffering. It's what helps you overcome. It's what helps you become resilient, right? And persevere. Now, this week, unfortunately, I was involved in a car accident and it was terrifying. Cars did not make it, but I'm here and everyone was okay. Praise the Lord. So I went into this prayer, just praise, just worship. It's really life-altering when you have moments like that. Still recovering, don't have a vehicle, learning how to adapt to life, right? And so while a lot was lost in a moment, it was like visions of life were just flashing before my eyes like a dream, right? So did you know that your eye is actually the fastest muscle in your body? And eyes are made of over 2 million working parts. Like what? So just think about that. That is so powerful. Our little eyeballs are powerful 2 million parts helping us see. Okay? So I was reminded of that in this accident. Right? And it's just interesting when you think about your life flashing before your eyes. You don't want that image and imagery to be full of nightmares, right? You want it to be full of life and goodness. And everything we see starts with a dream. Everything we see starts as an idea. And instead of living in nightmares, today what I want to do is help you shift your dreams into realities, okay? So most of us think vision is what we can see with our physical eyes, but one of my mentors says this: I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened. What he talks about is spiritual vision. So like physical vision, spiritual vision is just as complex and even more powerful. Okay? But many of us, especially the world is trained this way, we're not of the world's system. We're of a kingdom. That kingdom is a theocracy. It's literally an entirely different system than the world. It's an entirely different government. And as such, we need to be living from an entirely different system and government. And we have to have spiritual vision to operate from this. Okay? So, Helen Keller said this. While she could not see, she's quoted saying this, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight, but no vision." Come on. How many people today have two healthy eyeballs and they can see with physical sight, but they lack spiritual vision? So many humans. I'd be willing to bet it's like 95%, strangely enough. They lack a dream, they lack direction, and they lack execution. And a vision always demands execution. Just because you dreamed it does not mean that you will live it, and most people do not. Miles Monroe talks about how wealthy the graveyard is because so many dreams and visions are buried there. Let not yours be buried. Thomas Edison, the great inventor, said, "A vision without a plan is just a hallucination." Why? Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So when you get a vision, know that it's going to take work. The Bible says it this way: a vision comes with much painful effort and toil. Yay! So expect it. Don't ask yourself silly questions that you're never going to get good answers to, like, why is it so hard? Because it is. Like, it's going to come with much painful effort and toil. That's just part of a dream. That's part of a vision, right? That's why you have to have endurance for this thing. So here's perhaps a new working definition of vision. See if it fits. When frustration with what is creates a passion for what could be. Come on, somebody. Let me say it again. When frustration with what is creates a passion for what could be. So I use that word frustration because I think it's important. Sometimes people think that all frustration is bad. And I don't think all frustration is bad. Sometimes we punish ourselves for emotions, and that's just, frankly, silly. Sometimes I think you have to have divine frustration or this holy unrest, right? This restlessness. It's a holy anger on the inside. There's angst. And as I look at my current circumstance, as I look at my present situation, as I look at the world that I'm in right now, I'm not satisfied. I'm not content with where it is. Right? While I have my contentment in God, I see more, I want more, I'm believing for more. Okay? So I can be content in God, but I can still crave and desire and yearn and pursue more. Okay? So for example, I have a vision for my family, a vision for work, a vision for my life, a vision for health, right? Why? Because as I look at all those areas of my life, they're not all done being built. And we're builders. We're kingdom builders, okay? And all of those aspects, all of those visions are not perfect. They're not all complete. They're works that are evolving, okay? So let your frustration, instead of it being bad and instead of labeling it as this thing that is hindering you, let your frustration be the breeding ground or the birthplace of a holy vision, okay? So there's a story about a watchman who was complaining to God for multiple scriptures. Multiple verses, right? Essentially, he says, God, I'm seeing hell on earth. Like, what gives? Like, WTF, Lord? Like, what is happening here, right? What are you going to do about it? Something needs to happen. Like, yo, God, are you seeing this? This is not okay. Like, hello. That's exactly how he's going for multiple verses, right? Then what he does is he takes his stand in his tower and waits to see what the Lord will say to him and how he will answer or reply to his complaint. So what can we glean from this? If you want a spiritual vision, a God dream, the first thing you do is actually climb the tower. To actually receive this dream or vision from God, you climb the tower. Okay, so climbing the tower involves you coming up higher. You go up to a higher place. You get to higher ground. Think of this as you literally entering a new dimension. Okay. And how do we go to another dimension? That sounds like weird. Like, what are you saying, Juliana? This is bizarre. Well, that's exactly what prayer does. Prayer takes you to another dimension. And it releases heaven on earth, right? You literally draw from heaven and release it on earth, okay? So prayer, what it does is it brings us, it's like a channel that brings us into the presence of God. And when we go to God and pray, we start to get God's perspective. So we're no longer limited to our earthly plane. Now we have God's perspective. God actually says, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways and my thoughts than your thoughts. So when you climb this metaphorical tower, right, if you will, you're getting into God's presence and accessing his perspective. So it's the starting point of all God dreams. So get your head off what's going on right down here on earth and put your thoughts on things above. Think heaven's thoughts, literally. Put your head, if you will, in the clouds, climb the tower, come up higher, okay? Set your sights on things above. That's what the Bible tells us, right? For me, personally, when I think about 90% of the creative projects that I've done, books that I've written, teachings that I've prepared, events that I put on, speeches that I've created, I would say that 90% have come to me while I was aware of the presence of God through prayer and worship, right? I don't just dream this up on my own, like it's given to me by revelation. So that's when God starts speaking to me. That's when God starts helping me. That's when God starts giving me a vision of what could be, of what awaits me in the future. And when I get that vision suddenly gives perspective and purpose to my pain. It calms me in the middle of a crisis. It suddenly helps me alleviate the frustration because now I have an idea of where I'm headed. Like this pain is not in vain. I'm not stuck, right? I wonder, have you experienced that too, right? When we just get into God's presence, we're no longer limited to what we see, to our circumstance, to the opinions of man, to a doctor's report. We get a vision, a revelation of what's possible, and we start tracking with that. And then after you catch a vision, then what? Well, 2, you make it plain. Okay? So I wonder, are you making the vision clear and writing it down? Are you? This is so simple, yet it gets missed by so many humans. Okay? To make a vision plain, I know this is common sense, but common sense is not so common. To make a vision plain, you actually have to write it down. I know, it's wild. So when you get a vision from God, you actually have to take the time to write that thing down. Make it clear. Bullet points, a note on your phone, whatever it's got to be, but draw that thing out. And why do we have to make it plain? We need to make it plain so that we can run after what we read. Okay, we need to make it plain so that we can run with endurance after that thing because it's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey. We're going to have some endurance for sure. So once you write it down, now you've got some marching orders and now you've got some direction. I call this a divine download, a heavenly blueprint, a divine strategy, straight from heaven, okay? Now this is important because speed without direction is dangerous. Ask the woman that was just in a car accident. Okay? So I've got notebooks and journals full of things that God has spoken to me. And many of these things have come to pass. And there's many things that have not yet come to pass that are not yet a reality. But they are a reality in heaven. They're just not manifest on earth yet, right? So I'm still in a dreaming stage for some things. I'm working towards some things. I'm closing the gap on some things. However, when you know where you're going, you can go further, faster. You catch this divine acceleration. Folks that are in the God's Vibes Mastermind can attest to this. Like, go listen to the episode about the God's Vibes Mastermind. It's the God's Vibes Mastermind Marathon. Go listen to that. People get in the mastermind, and it's like they get on this divine conveyor belt. And they get pulled into their destiny, whether they like it or not. It's really powerful, okay? But they start getting clear. They start healing. They start having prayers answered. They start having these crazy encounters with God and these shifts happening. They get accelerated into his good plans and purposes for their lives. And when you're clear, you can run after the thing that you've read. So when you're not, and that'll happen too, go slow and let the details be revealed. So an example of this, if you weren't sure where you were going to go to college, you go slow. You start touring different schools and you start gathering data and you start allowing yourself to be led. Okay? When you're not sure who you're going to marry, go slow. Go slow. I don't know what this rush and this urgency thing is, right? Like eternity's a long time. So, right? Till death do us part's a long time. So, go slow. If you're not sure, go slow. Go slow. Okay? So now you've got a vision, you've got some clarity. Now what? Number 3, be patient. Yay. I know. I can feel your thoughts running through your brain right now. But every vision has an appointed time. In fact, God says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, shall make it happen. Not I, you, shall make it happen. I, the Lord. So if you're honest, your problem right now might not be vision. It might be patience. So you don't know how to wait on God. Maybe you strive in your own strength. But it does say in the Word of God that those that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Okay? As we wait on the Lord, as we get in front of God, as we depend on Him, as we keep surrendering to Him and yielding to Him and giving Him the right way in our life, He imparts strength to us. Okay? So things may seem slow, and that's probably true because we really do live in like a microwave generation where everything is at our fingertips, right? However, overnight success is not a reality. You can ask anybody that seems to give you that impression, anybody that's demonstrated success in some way. It was not overnight. It was not overnight. In fact, they usually had a lot of failure, a lot of rejection, so many opportunities to give up and abort their dream. But they kept showing up. And at the appointed time, it happened. Okay? So dreams and visions happen over time. They happen over time. So that's just something that's a great practice in general, is to count the cost. Do you really want what you say you want as bad as you want it? You know, sometimes we like the idea of things, but not the reality of them. Sometimes we like the idea of people, but not the reality of them. That was for somebody. Okay, so dreams and visions happen over time. But if you truly believe it's inevitable, you better prepare in that time lag. Otherwise, when it does come to pass, you won't be ready. And that is never a fun place to be. Be found ready. God will always get us to our destination, even if and especially when we face the impossible. Okay? So here those three things are again. Here's how you can literally transform a dream into a reality. Okay? You can take an idea into form, something invisible to something visible. Okay? Number 1, climb the tower. Come up higher and get God's vision. If you want a God dream, it's going to require partnership, co-laboring, co-creating with God. There's a book that I wrote about that. God's Vibes Matter, Co-Laboring with God. That's a great one to access. You can find it on Amazon or over at julianapage.com/books. But come up higher. Come up higher. So that book, Co-Laboring with God, is about how you do that, how you actually partner with God. 1, climb the tower. 2, make it plain. Make it plain. Write it down. Can you see it? Are you sure? Do you actually comprehend the vision? Do you have it in detail? Right? It's always great. Keep notebooks by your bed, document things on your phone, speak into your phone, the vision, and transcribe it later, whatever you got to do, but get it out. Get it out so that you can see it and you can schedule it. Okay? Those that fail to plan to fail. And then lastly, number 3, be patient. Patience is a superpower. It really is supernatural. Your average human just does not have that in this world. They just don't. Okay? So, you got it? 1, climb the tower. 2, make it plain. 3, be patient. Pretty simple. So simple a child could do it, but we often miss it, right? And unless we become like a child, this childlikeness, we can't enter the kingdom. So perhaps embrace that with a vision or a dream that you have in your life. Run it through these 3 steps and see how that changes things. Did this bless you? I hope so. If it did, rate it 5 stars, leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, share it with a friend. We're always hoping to help you. So please subscribe, share, spread this word, spread the good news, and join us in 30 Days of Faith Walking. Okay, if you really want so many more practical tools like this, join us in 30 Days of Faith Walking. We start March 4th. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be live coaching you directly. You can get all of your questions answered. We're going to have so much fun in there, I promise. And you're probably going to get more than 5 hours of coaching. Just because we're generous over here. All right? All right, everybody. I hope this message blessed you. And until next time, stay blessed. Listen, if you are not plugged into Courage Co yet, what are you doing? Courage Co is a faith-based community off social media that you can access from your phone or your desktop, literally from anywhere. It is a safe place and a sacred space for you to invest in and live your most courageous and impactful story. You can join us for free for prayer calls and challenges, for a monthly subscription where we have monthly masterclasses, or the God's Vibes Mastermind, where you will get live master life coaching at a price that you won't get anywhere else. 12 weeks of content that we will go through together, or you can navigate at your own pace. You'll have lifetime access to that. A community of women doing this alongside of you, a workbook, and so many other materials to help you on your journey. And I just want you to imagine for a second, having the courage, clarity, and focus to achieve anything you desire. Walking into any situation fully confident, knowing you have everything you need to succeed. Embracing challenges and overcoming obstacles with grace and ease. Feeling only love and compassion for others, no matter how they may have hurt you in the past. Standing up for what you believe in and taking unstoppable action to create the kind of world you want to live in. You're in the right place to take your next step on your journey. When you plug into the God's Vibes Mastermind, I'll teach you how to identify and eliminate the self-limiting beliefs and habits that are stopping you from getting the results you want. I'll teach you how to heal old wounds that have negatively impacted your self-image and self-esteem for far too long. I'll show you how to dismantle the story of who you are and what you can or cannot do in the world. I'll help you expand your consciousness from fear-based limitation to love and compassion and service to the world. I'll help you vanquish the inner enemies that are stopping you from being all that you can be. Release your victimhood and reclaim your power. Develop a aligned mindset and habits to boost your productivity and results. Gain deeper awareness of your own inner light and divinity, and achieve the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self-mastery needed to achieve any goal. You will learn how to think the way God formed, shaped, and anointed you to think, and succeed the way He always intended, and show up in any situation as the most powerful person in the room, no matter what challenges might appear on your path. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, I want to invite you to join the God's Vibes Mastermind. You can get plugged into it over at Courage Co. You can access Courage Co at any level at www.courageco.org. Together, we will awaken your inner warrior spirit and unleash your capacity to achieve any goal you can imagine. You will become an example of what's possible with God.